some of our new arrivals this week. Wow, we got some really cool stuff, and we're getting. It just seems like every week we get cooler and cooler stuff, and this one is really interesting because it's affordable and it's daily driver-esque. And it's a 2005 Volkswagen Beetle GL convertible, Galactic Blue Metallic. Love that name.
Yep.
Over tan. It's only got 51,000 original miles. I mean, that car's almost 20 years old. And 20 model years is pretty soon coming up, right?
Yeah.
2.0 liter EFI inline four. This car was garage kept, well kept and maintained. It's got nice leather seating. Of course, the Beetle came back and was a home run out of the gate again. Well, isn't it amazing? The iconicness of the Beetle, be it the old version that came out in 1954 or 55, and through the ones they stopped making them in 79, was that somewhere in there? I think it was, and then they started back, and they were popular out of the gate when they started back. Isn't it funny how Volkswagen Beetles have that connection with people? Absolutely.
I mean, it's the most unique shape. I mean, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
And of course, a lot of Porsche influence on Volkswagen. And of course, Ferdinand Porsche worked for Volkswagen back in the day. So
that's right.
Anyway, if you get a chance, check that out. And again, affordable daily driver. So if you think classic auto mall, you don't always think of the fact that there might be something here that you could buy instead of buying something off whatever dealer lot. That you could buy that you could use on a daily basis.
And VW Beetles can go either way. It's kind of a classic, and and you can use it as a daily driver.
And the ones that, when they come out, they're classic. They're cool from day one. So, and the new van that they've got coming out is really cool looking.
Yeah, that's
although it's an EV, so what's going to happen with that? We don't know. Maybe they'll hybrid it or something. I don't know. Is hybrided it? Is that a plural of hybrid? Now. I guess, and we'll make it that way. How about the 1977 Chrysler Cordoba, Corinthian leather, 11,000 actual miles.
Somebody put it away.
Somebody put it away and didn't ride it hard and put it away wet. Got the 400 V8, the A727 Torque Flight automatic. Very original car. I mean, this is very unusual because a lot of these cars from the 70s, and we've talked about this, they rusted out. They weren't built as well as, the steel wasn't as well treated or whatever it is they do or they did in later years. And so these things just didn't last.
Yeah, there wasn't undercoating like there is
right.
Now,
and they weren't designed to last. They were more throwaway, I think, than they are now. You got cars, it's like flat screen TVs. They say they only last a couple of years now. I've had mine for 6 years.
Right.
Well, what the heck?
That's right.
Somebody's lying.
Everything's built to not last now, whereas back in the day, it kind of was, except for cars, which were subject to salt and rain and water and all that stuff.
Well, why do you think Duracell doesn't make rechargeable batteries? They do, but they didn't. It didn't go over very well. I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want it. It's like the 200 mile per gallon carburetor. Remember that? Supposedly the guy who created or invented a carburetor that would get 200 miles per gallon was never seen or found again.
The guy was never seen or found.
The inventor.
I have that problem with windshield wipers because unless you get the silicone ones, they're good for about 3 days and then you got to replace them.
You know where you got to get windshield wipers, and I'm sure this is by design. You got to get them at the manufacturer. If you go to Chevrolet and get windshield wipers, they are way better than the ones you buy anywhere else. And I'm not downplaying the others. It's just they're terrible. They don't do what they're supposed to do.
Disposable.
They're very, very disposable. Yeah. But 3 days is maybe pushing the disposable.
A couple months in the sun and they're done. They're done.
Well, that rubber and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you go to any of the, Lexus or Mercedes or Porsche and you get your windshield wipers changed there, they seem to be better. So for whatever reason.
Probably.
So, try to get off my high horse there. Next new arrival is the 2003 Chevrolet Monte Carlo SS Coupe Jeff Gordon edition. By golly.
It is the Jeff Gordon edition.
I know. That's what I just said.
I didn't even know this thing existed till I wrote this up. It's pretty cool, actually.
2 owners. One a 2400. It's got the original window sticker. I mean, it's nearly new. It's 6,500 miles. The title reads exempt because, unfortunately, somebody at one of the local, not even the local, could have been anywhere in the country, one of the DMVs, said, over 10 years old, exempt. And be careful with that. We talk about this on the show. If you've got a low-mileage car, it's important for that paper trail to remain the low mileage on it. And even when you go and have your car serviced, especially with low mileage, and you're at a Pennzoil quick change oil place, look at the mileage that they put on your receipt and make sure it's right. And if it's not, make sure they change it, because if they don't, that goes to Carfax, and all of a sudden there's a mileage discrepancy because they said there's no way this has only got 9,000 miles. It's 109.
Right.
You know, so you got to check that. Make sure that you look at that receipt when you have your car serviced, even at your dealership, because if they put the wrong mileage on there, it's going to haunt that car, because now there's going to be a mileage discrepancy on the Carfax or the auto check, and it's hard to fix.
Yep.
Very, very difficult. So this has got 6,500 miles. You know, they made a Dale Earnhardt edition, a Tony Stewart edition. I mean, this one, the Jeff Gordon edition. I don't think that they are as collectible now as they were when they kind of first came out. They were one of those ones that I think a lot of people thought instant collectible, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, the 76 Cadillac Eldorado, the 78 Indy Pace Car Corvette, the black and silver. I think a lot of people thought, oh, you know, these things are going to be really collectible.
Yeah,
so
or they were just like hardcore NASCAR fans, which can be rabid, you know, and they're Jeff Gordon fans, and that's their man. And, I got to have I got to have that car.
If Jeff Gordon says you use Tide detergent, by God, you use Tide detergent, and you don't. That's right. You don't sway. But what an interesting car, and it's really pretty with the blue and silver over the ebony interior. Another new arrival is the '59 Chevrolet Apache 3100 pickup. Now this thing looks stock, but it's got a 5.7 liter LT1 V8, the 4L60E automatic transmission, heat and air, Mustang 2 front end. I mean, this thing is cool. This is really well done.
These are really neat,
and they're good looking trucks. They really are. You talk about, if you wanted to see 50s pickup truck, a Chevrolet Apache would be the one that you would just picture in your mind. And of course, when you saw it, you say, "Oh, I pictured the right one." The 1933 Chrysler Imperial 8 Series CQ Coupe. Guess what? Another resto-mod. This one's got a 350 cubic inch V8, which you look at this car and you would not picture this as a resto-mod, right?
Right.
You would just say, oh, that looks like a 1933 Chrysler. That's what a pretty car. And again, it's got one of the features that you and I have talked about and we seem to like more and more. It doesn't have the dual side mounts, which gives it a more sleek look from the fenders. You kind of lose that sleek fender flow, if you will, when those dual side mounts are mounted there. And they were mounted there from a practicality reason.
Sure.
Because you blew tires all the time.
Yeah,
You know, you're just driving down the road, pow, there goes your tire.
The roads were rougher back then.
And there wasn't a place to get it fixed.
Right.
So what did you do? You know, you carried two spares, or they even stacked them two on the back well, too. So you have two instead of the trunk in the back. But this one's got a 700 R4 automatic, beautifully applied paint, again, heat and air. A real classic-looking car with a resto-mod.
You would never know.
No, with a modern reliability. So check that one out. All these can be checked out on our website, classicautomall.com. Last but not least, the 74 BMW 2002 TII, Inca Orange over black, 2-liter 4-cylinder. It's got the Ray Corman engine upgrades, which is a well-known tuner that does a lot of upgrades to the BMW 2002s. And these things, you talk about iconic. I mean, these are as iconic as they get, and especially in orange. That color is just really sets them apart from any other car that you see on the road. That's what people love about them. They're odd looking in a way,
sure, but
kind of in a good way. Odd.
Oh yeah,
you know,
they have such an incredible fan base and enthusiast group.
Sure,
I mean, you're not alone if you buy this thing.
No. And like an AMC Pacer, you know, there are a AMC Gremlin or whatever. Yeah, they're oddball, but they have their charm to them. Kind of the same with the BMW 2002. If you took it for face value and looked at it, you'd say, that's kind of an odd looking car. You wouldn't really think much about it being a sports car, or no different than the Datsun 510, which is just a box and looks like a box, but is cool in a boxy sort of way.
Yeah, exactly. You know? And these things, and like I said in the write-up, my friend who's a BMW fanatic said, if you've never driven one, then you can't really, you don't know.
Miata, we talked about that. Yeah. That's the same thing. Yep. If you've never driven a Miata, don't look
judge.
Down your nose. Don't you judge. Don't you come judging over here.
This has been the Classic Automall Show with your host, Stewart Howden.